The Proxima relay station fell silent at 400 hours Galactic Standard Time. Anna Chen, Chief Communications Officer aboard the UES Vigilance, noticed it first, a gap in the data stream where the automated beacon should have pulsed every 3.7 seconds. She ran diagnostics twice before alerting Commander David Constantin. "It's probably another solar flare," David said, rubbing sleep from his eyes as he entered the communications bay. "Proxima's star is temperamental." Anna shook her head, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "No solar activity reported, and look at this." She magnified the last transmission packet. Buried in the data was a fragment, a child's scream cut off mid-breath. David's expression hardened. The Proxima relay wasn't just a communications hub. It was home to 847 personnel and their families. 73 children lived in the station's residential quarters, attending school in modules that looked out upon the cosmic vastness. "Get me Admiral Zhang," David ordered, "and spin up the quantum drive. We're going in." The Vigilance crossed 14 light-years in 7 hours, emerging from quantum space to a vision of hell. Proxima Station was a broken shell, its cylindrical modules cracked open like seed pods. Bodies tumbled in the zero gravity, frozen in their final moments. But it was the children's section that made Anna's breath catch. The educational dome had been deliberately targeted, its transparent aluminum shattered, its contents scattered into the void. "Scan for survivors," David's voice was ice. "Negative," Anna reported, fighting to keep her voice steady. "But I'm picking up something else. Molecular traces on the hull damage. It's Xylanthe plasma signatures." The Xylanthe. Humanity had encountered them 3 years prior, during the first contact incident at Barnard's star. They were an old race, part of the Galactic Collective, a coalition of 17 species that had divided the Orion Arm into carefully maintained territories for the past 8,000 years. Humanity, in their estimation, was an upstart species occupying worlds the Collective considered theirs by ancient right. There had been diplomatic tensions, trade disputes, territorial negotiations, but never violence, never this. "They hit the children first," Anna whispered, studying the tactical replay. "The residential areas, the school, they wanted maximum psychological impact." David's jaw clenched. They miscalculated. Over the next 18 hours, reports flooded in from across human space. The attack on Proxima wasn't isolated. 17 human colonies had been struck simultaneously, all civilian targets, all with devastating precision. The Xylanthe had used weapons banned by their own collective for millennia, probability disruptors that caused molecular bonds to simply forget how to hold together, consciousness shredders that dissolved sentient minds while leaving bodies intact. The death toll climbed past 40,000. 63% were children. The Galactic Collective issued a statement through their Quantum Ansible network. Humanity had been warned repeatedly to abandon their illegal settlements in collective space. This was the consequence of their refusal. The Xylanthe action, while regrettable in its scope, was justified under Collective Law Code 7845C, Terminal Enforcement of Territorial Sovereignty. They expected humanity to submit, to negotiate, to bend the knee as every other young species had done when confronted with the Collective's ancient power. They didn't understand what they had done. Anna watched the broadcast from Earth with tears streaming down her face. Not tears of despair, tears of rage barely contained. Every major city on humanity's homeworld had gone dark for 24 hours, a period of mourning unlike any since the Third World War. But when the lights came back on, something had changed. The governments of Earth, Mars, Europa, and the 73 colony worlds didn't issue diplomatic protests. They didn't convene emergency sessions or demand reparations. Instead, they activated Protocol Omega, a contingency plan so terrible that it had been developed in classified facilities and locked behind authorization codes that required unanimous consent from every human government. "They're really doing it," David said, reading the encrypted orders that appeared on his command console. Every ship, every station, every resource wore footing. Anna pulled up the technical specifications scrolling across her screen. The quantum foundries are already online. They're building a battle fleet using compressed timeline manufacturing. David, they're projecting 15,000 warships in 90 days. Not just warships, David corrected, highlighting a subsection of the orders. Look at the weapon specifications. Anna's eyes widened. Humanity had spent the past century developing theoretical weapons as thought experiments, as academic exercises in applied physics. Causality violators that could strike targets before being fired. Quantum tunnel bombs that would detonate in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Stellar igniters that could turn any star into a nova on command. They'd never built them because using such weapons would be insane, would be genocide on a cosmic scale. But the children of Proxima would never laugh again. The students who'd attended class in that transparent dome, gazing at stars they'd never reach, had been scattered into vacuum for the crime of existing. Humanity had tried to be civilized. The galaxy had responded by slaughtering their young. 3 months later, the Xylanthi homeworld of Xylanthropprime detected an anomaly in their star. Their scientists, among the most advanced in the collective, studied the readings with growing confusion. Something was building in the stellar core, a cascading fusion reaction that shouldn't be possible in a stable main-sequence star. They had 14 hours to evacuate before their sun went nova. The collective convened an emergency session. 17 species, thousands of years of accumulated knowledge, and not one could explain how humanity had weaponized stellar physics in 90 days. The Xylanthi survivors screamed for retaliation, but other collective members hesitated. If humans could ignite stars remotely. The message from humanity came through every Ansible network simultaneously. Anna delivered it personally, her face broadcast to billions across the galaxy. David stood beside her, wearing the new uniform of the Terran Defense Fleet, midnight black with a single silver star over the heart, representing Proxima. "To the Galactic Collective," Anna began, her voice steady and cold. "You murdered our children because you believed we would submit. You were wrong. You thought yourselves old and wise and us young and afraid. You were wrong about that too." David gestured to the display behind them, showing the burnt-out husk of what had been Xylanthropprime's star. "We have demonstrated our capability. Every sun in collective space is now targeted. We have deployed quantum probability anchors in each stellar core. One command, one single transmission from any human ship, and your sons will die." Anna continued, "We didn't start this war. We didn't want this war. We came to the stars hopping to find brothers and sisters among the cosmos. Instead, you showed us that the galaxy respects only strength. Very well, we will show you strength." The screen split, showing footage of the new Terran fleet emerging from quantum space. 15,000 warships, each one carrying weapons that made the collective's ancient arsenals look primitive. But it was the final image that drove the message home. A real-time feed of a human colony world, where children played in parks under alien suns, protected now by orbital defense platforms that could crack planets. "Our children are off-limits," David said quietly. "Touch them again, and we will burn the galaxy clean of your civilizations. We will end your species, your cultures, your histories. We will make it as if you never existed." Anna's eyes held no mercy. "You wanted to show us the price of defying the collective. We've shown you the price of harming our young. Choose your next move carefully." The transmission ended. In the council chambers of the Galactic Collective, representatives of 17 species sat in stunned silence. The Xylanthi ambassador finally spoke, his voice hollow. "They're bluffing. They must be bluffing." But when the astronomical data came in, showing human probability anchors now embedded in every collective star system, detectable but impossible to remove without triggering the very stellar ignition they were designed to cause. The truth became inescapable. Humanity had been peaceful because they chose peace. They had submitted to diplomatic pressure because they valued civilization. But when their children died, something ancient and terrible had awakened, a species that had clawed its way to the top of Earth's food chain not through strength alone, but through ruthless, creative violence when survival demanded it. The collective had awakened humanity's true nature, and now they would live with the consequences. Anna Chen stood on the observation deck of the UES Vigilance, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Proxima Station's debris still orbited a distant sun, a tomb for 73 children who would never grow up. She touched her hand to the transparent aluminum, whispering a promise to the dead. Never again. Behind her, David approached quietly. The collective is requesting peace negotiations, full withdrawal from contested territories, reparations, war crimes trials for the Xylanthi command structure. It won't bring them back, Anna said. No, David agreed, but it ensures no one will dare try again. The galaxy knows now humanity protects its own at any cost. They stood together in silence, two humans among trillions of stars, bearing the weight of what their species had become. Not conquerors, not monsters, simply parents who would burn the cosmos to ashes before allowing harm to come to their children again. The galaxy had taught humanity a hard lesson. Mercy was perceived as weakness. Now humanity would teach the galaxy something in return, that a species gentle enough to love could be fierce enough to end worlds when that love was violated. In the cold mathematics of interstellar politics, a new equation had been written in starfare and probability physics. The galactic collective had learned it too late. Never threaten humanity's children. Because humanity would show its true power, and the galaxy would tremble.